Hi, my name is Iver van Zand from SAP Belgium. I work in business analytics, and my idea for this DataGeek challenge was the following. I got a little bored of using all these slides explaining our portfolio and business intelligence vision to the customer, where we talk about how to position the BI spectrum, where exploration and visualization comes in, where predictive analytics comes in. This is what I typically use to explain the portfolio, the different categories, and explain to customer the importance of trusted data discovery, for example. And I always use these kind of slides also to explain, for example, this roadmap. My idea for this challenge was to completely let this go and start using Lumira to tell a similar story in a completely other way. Let's have a look. So what I've created is this Excel file that handles a number of topics that I might or might not want to be talking about in front of customers. So I've made a selection in the main topics. So I have a discussion around the BI environment, what we see around our BI platform. There's a topic around how the BI suite is structured. There's a topic around how we can connect to HANA. There's a topic about predictive analytics. There's something that explains the 4 major steps in Lumira that you need to go through. And there's stuff regarding the roadmap. And in the Excel, I per topic listed a number of subjects that I can use as a hierarchy and a number of metrics. And the idea is that I load this file into Lumira and that I can make the visualizations that help me explaining the story to the customer. So let's go to what I created in Lumira. So here's the same data set in Lumira. This is 1.27. So I did a little bit cleaning up of my data, and I made a big set of visualizations that I can use. It's a kind of a deck or a LUMS file with a number of visualizations that I can use as needed. And the story that I just showed you in the PowerPoint would look like this in Lumira. So what I do in front of the customer is I go into preview mode, and so I talk about the story and introduce who I am, and tell a little bit about the different trends that we see in the market. And over here I talk already about how the predictive is structured. So where we started from raw data, answered questions like what happened using ad hoc reporting and OLAP analysis, for example. And over here I can talk about, if I hover, you can see I can talk about agile visualizations. Why did things happen? And over here you try to answer questions like what will happen or what's the best that could happen. Yeah? So I can open up this chart and go into a bit more detail and discover the different topics. So the next page of my story is around the readiness that our platform has for the cloud, IoT, and big data, all topics and subjects that surround our BI platform, where I can talk, and over here I have the different links. I can talk about the Internet of Things. I can talk about big data, and very important, I talk about this very important topic of trusted data discovery, which I, while talking, touch and highlight the graphs a little bit to the customers to make it a bit more clearer. And the same goes for, sometimes I use this graph, which is basically covering the same stuff, where I just pick out a slice and discuss that area to the topic. Well, the next step in my conversation is to narrow it down a little bit, and where I talk about this wheel that you recognize from the PowerPoint slide that I showed you earlier. However, I can now click the wheel, and it opens up this little graph where I typically go in detailed mode, and I can discuss the various topics. I can drill down, say, well, agile exploration and visualization. That's all about these topics. Yeah, and I can go back and do the same exercise, also talking enterprise business intelligence. I can drill down, yeah, and in the meantime, I could save this. What I typically do, I can save this in the cloud and share it immediately while talking to the customer with them. Yeah, so this is, I can go back to my initial view. If I am in a situation that I want to talk a little bit more detailed on how to connect to HANA, for example, I made a link over here, and here I talk about how we can go via freehand SQL or universes, or even have a native connection. And again, I can drill down in the graphs as I wish or not, depending on the situation that I'm talking to. Yeah. So the next slide tells a little bit. I go down one level deeper, talking about the platform itself, where we explain the different components, and I use weight factors to highlight the components that are of specific interest to me or that I want to highlight to the customer. And the next slide, if I go back in this area, the next slide, I can talk a bit more in detail regarding the different components using this heat map. And again, over here you see the big areas in the platform itself, the Agile, the Advanced, and the Enterprise BI, where I can, again, to clarify to the customer, drill down and say, well, I want to talk today about Web Intelligence or Crystal, Design Studio, or dashboards. Yeah, so this is what I use, and over here I created an overview for them. Typically, I also touch the One Simple program, so basically the roadmap, where I talk about Design Studio as the preferred technology to do managed dashboarding. Well, I don't have to explain to you Lumira for anything that's exploration or visualization. Web Intelligence, basically, or Crystal reports regarding reporting or analysis for Office, for any customer that wants to go in the Office integration. Well, for me, the trick is a little bit that I typically end up explaining the various steps that we need to go through, like a cook. This guy is a famous cook in Belgium. When creating something in Lumira, you have these 4 big steps, and then at the end we make a little joke and say, well, let's go to Lumira, and oh no, excuse me, I'm already in Lumira. So people like this, and so this is my way of telling the story that a lot that myself and a lot of colleagues of mine explain to our customers talking BI. My way to do that a bit more creative and use Lumira to do so. Many thanks for your attention.